Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder 2, believe it or not, a chat gameplay. And this is in the Chinese end of the line battle rating 10.3 J-7II. And this is practically a MiG-21, and it has as armament two 30mm Type 31 cannons with 120 rounds between them. And as missiles, you can equip the PL-2 air-to-air missile, as I said, two of them. And they can pull up to 10 Gs and have a range of 3.5 kilometers when it comes to weapon lock range in rear aspect. 800 meters per second mass velocity is also not bad. The 30mm are incredibly awesome to shoot, but again, you run out of ammunition faster than you can believe. Well played, F4C, well played. So, this is the very first battle that I played in this plane, and today I don't want to talk about here any sort of comparison really. I simply don't want to talk about the performance aspect of this plane aside from certain points. What I want to talk about today is the first battle. The first battle in general in any vehicle that I play, because over the last few weeks and months I noticed something, that whenever I play something for the first time, be it a ship, a tank, a plane, whatever, I just get in the very first battle a result that is usually amongst the best up until a point that I make a video about this plane. And usually then, I drop really playing the vehicle, except if I really want to spade it in one go. Because, it takes quite a while to actually get something done. Now, what I want to highlight here is that I'm an absolute chat noob. I've become really bad at chats, and yet I got this battle. Now, I don't get an ace, I don't get an incredible amount of things, but you will have a good laugh. And once in a while, I have to amuse those that don't like me, because, at least they contribute to the views. Jokes aside, the thing feels great. It looks great, and it has crazy acceleration with the afterburner, but I made several mistakes in this video or in this match that I tried to change later on. First of all, the biggest mistake is I had no idea how crazy the fuel consumption on the afterburner is. And you can see I'm barely in the match and I'm down to 2 minutes because I took mini fuel, which is roughly 9 minutes, right? And the afterburner is just taking on fuel at an astonishing rate. So my plan was to go back to base and to just simply, refuel and get some shells back, because I barely pulled the trigger and I have gone through half my ammunition. So this is a really what I would call a min-max chat. The problem here is that this chat comes in, and he denies me to just simply go back easily to base. I dodge him, and maybe he knows that I am down to now 1 minute of fuel, right? And I use the afterburner to get quickly some speed back, I'm not talking here crazy speed, but some speed. I mean, this thing on the stat card can go beyond 2000 kilometers per hour. I hold down the trigger, and literally the last bullet found its mark and let him explode violently. That was my first kill, and it was not a pretty one. It was a bad head-on, and he misplayed, and I misplayed, but I misplayed less. So yeah, not really a awesome start, but I'm now down to 24 seconds of fuel, down to 20 seconds. Will I make it back to base? Well, to be honest, I will make it back to base, but I have no idea about the landing characteristics. Literally, the very first battle that I played. And this is just something that I noticed. When I tried out this plane for the first time, which I got for a test drive by Gaijin, thank you boys, I thought to myself, well, let's just see what kind of a meta I'm going into. And to be honest, this is quite something. This is quite something because I usually avoid chats. And it is the very start from the chats, which sometimes I play, but not the higher it gets, especially everything between the first chats and then the latest chats that we have. 10.0, 10.3. Everything else is trash, especially when it's stock. And yes, this jet is fully upgraded, again, because I got it for a test drive. But I digress. So I make it back to base and I try now to land. I hope that nobody really goes for me because, also for jets, this map is pretty small. And I think the implementation speed of always more gimmicky new technology and even more modern jets is just overwhelming for a player like me. I have so many vehicles in the game. I have access to even more. If I would buy them, if I would bother to play them. But you can only play one vehicle at any given point. You can make the finest lineups and put everything in an ace crew and spend tons of money on it. But the question is, do you actually enjoy it? And I have to say, I enjoy jets for 3 or 4 battles, and then I'm more like, meh. The question is, am I the only one? The question is, do you have a similar result in what you play, drive, or sail through the battlefield skies and oceans of War Thunder, where you have this first battle, which is quite amazing because you have a good game. That can also happen to me in stock vehicles, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking here about the overall performance of this plane. I'm talking here about the feeling to it. And I think that this is something that I have not really talked too often. Because very often I try to find you a direction to understanding the vehicle in terms of presentation via review, first impressions, or just random gameplay, via, running down the stats and comparing, which I don't do here. But I have to say, if you are not really playing constantly jets and you are willing to deal with ghost missiles, ghost shells, with weird damage models, with disconnects, with ping and server issues, which is just a thing which I have experienced myself. It's all the more annoying with jets because they are so fast, right? Then I'm not really enjoying this all too much. So we are now 7.5 minutes into the gameplay, and I have exactly 1 kill, and that guy is the last player alive. So again, the upcoming scene, don't judge me on this. It's just an experience. I just want to finish the game. I actually thought, making a kill compilation about this plane and just, running down the statistics and trying to get my impressions out there. But to be honest, for that, I would have to play so many other jets. For example, the German MiG-21MF with the 23mm, the same with the Russians, with their 2 MiGs that I didn't even research, the MiG-21 F-13 and the MiG-21 SMT, which is even red, which is something that I rarely see in my tech trees, right? Then also I don't have any sort of real experience in the F4 Phantom II, and also for the British, I'm not following up with their Phantom FGR2. I mean, I have some impressions from the Mitsubishi T2, but that again is power creep to hell. And then with the Italians, with the F86K, well, that is a 9.0 top jet. Well, there is theoretically the G91YS, but oof. To be honest, I don't know. There is so much stuff to get implemented here, and that guy just bailed out. I thought I'd had him. I didn't realize that he in fact could repair so fast, and obviously now the comment section burns because he just bailed out, got in, but I actually was strafing him on his runway, but actually he was the last player. We actually won this match. There is not all that much that he can do by now, except if he kills all of us, but then, that would be Thunder Show material, I guess. So he now tries to play the game of bailing out and getting in again to stop the ticket bleed. Now, the one thing that I really have to that I have to say here is, now I trash talk him a little bit. Oh, are we playing that game now? Just to taunt him a little bit. And I already lost him because he hasn't bailed out. And it were just those few seconds where I lost him. Now I saw the dot, but I was like, really? That fast? And he replied. And now I don't see him anymore, but he must be there, right? And I thought, did I really see him take off already that quickly? So this is how little experience I have with chats. Now, the one thing that I want to go out there is, a long time ago, probably 6 or 7 years ago, Chingles made a video in the KI200, I guess, where he said that he just simply doesn't have fun in those things. And the second he goes back to props, it's fantastic, right? And for me personally, not really all that much has changed since then. There were some chats that I enjoyed, but then, boom, huge repair costs. And then I didn't enjoy them anymore. And the second is then you enjoy a chat and then it gets nerfed. Look at the Horton and its 30mm, removal of the HVAPs, and then also removal of the accuracy. The second then is, or the third one, is, tactical gameplay with those chats, with those server issues that we have at times. I don't know. Now, if you have turned off by now, then I think you're not listening to this, but yeah, a little bit of trash talk in the chat. So it was a very first relaxed battles. I tried to follow this up, I tried to really make more such battles. Maybe I even get good, Maybe I really am then able to talk you through this chat, which looks amazing. It performs amazing. The acceleration with the afterburner is just brutal. But is it amongst the best? Is it really an awesome chat? I don't know. But in a few battles I could make it work to get 1, maybe 2 kills. But what really stood out was the first battle, because I have the excuse here of having no experience whatsoever. I don't know how it turns, how it accelerates, how it compares to the rest, how reliable the ammo is, how the guns are. I can't tell you. What I can tell you is that the first battle was quite okay for a first battle. And obviously such noob shells, noob shots. Well, at least he turns and now he's in a dogfight. And he is in a MiG-21, I'm in a MiG-21, but I don't know how those two versions compare to each other. What I know though is that sometimes I'm patient enough and I can predict stuff. And then I don't need all that much ammo. But look at this. That was a beautiful shot. Now I know there are so many guys out there that can claim to make those shots 24/7 in the sleep with the left hand behind the back, but for me that is something that brought a little smile to my face. The question is this a fun video to watch? I don't know. But what I know is that this was not with an expert qualification. And I had fun for the first battle, and my god, does this plane look good. So, here for a more lightly hearted battle, for a not even first impression, because I can't really compare it, but for only 2 kills, I got 41,000 civilians and nearly 12,000 medication research points, or in this case nearly 11,000 research points, which is the great part about the chat income. And in terms of placement, I was only in the middle of the team. So yeah, that was a quite nicely relaxed battle for me at least, and I hope you enjoyed it nevertheless. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. You know where the like button is, you know where the subscribe button is, and as usual, we'll see each other on the battlefields, on the waves and in the skies of War Thunder.